was a child, there was something called a TV guide.
What?
TV guide. It would come in the mail, and you couldn't wait to get it. The mail is the thing outside. It's like a box, and a guy comes by, and he stuffs stuff in it.
Oh, like papers and things like that? Yeah.
Stuff you should open. Might be a bill in there. Might be a check. And a TV guide would come, and there'd be a celebrity on the cover of TV guide, and then you want to know what is on TV, you'd open it. You'd risk paper cuts.
Oh.
It could be deadly.
Ink blots on your fingers.
And then a little thing called the internet came along, and a young man named Alex Elwood said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do Decider.com. What to watch, when to watch it. We're going to save lives. That's right, Alex. You are saving lives around the globe.
Oh, thank you so much. I do what little bit that I can. So anything I can do now.
No more TV guide paper cuts. And also, it's no way to settle a family argument because you could whip a TV guide at someone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Exactly. Harder to do that with the internet.
Yeah, you got to throw a laptop. That's no good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so streaming habits shifting. Everybody's cord cutting. I'm just going to stream. Now you got every streaming service. You're paying as much as you are for your cable bill. What are people doing? Are they cutting back?
Yeah, they're definitely cutting back. There was actually a report on Tuesday in the Wall Street Journal via an analytics firm called Atena, not Antenna, but Atena, that was laying out that in the past year, people have been cutting, not the cord, I guess the opposite of the cord, they're cutting the streamers as well. They're going down as much as 25% on a lot of the major streamers, including Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Netflix, Prime Video, etc. And a lot of that is chalked up to exactly what you'd expect. There's less content that people want to watch on these streamers, and at the same time, they're raising prices because less people are subscribing. So it's definitely this feedback loop that's leaving people cut them. The good news for the streamer, though, is that Atena also found that people tend to sign up later, which is the sort of habits that we've seen before with things like an HBO, which was and continues to be a pay service, where people would subscribe for a Game of Thrones. They'd have it for a couple of months. They'd cancel. And then when Game of Thrones came back, they would subscribe again. It seems like people are kind of going into the same habits for streamers as well.
That's kind of what we do, too, because we have the Apple, the Hulu, we have it all. But when certain things stop, like the morning show, we'll get rid of Apple TV until it comes back. But my question to you, Alex, we're having this discussion in our house right now. Get rid of the cable and start with the streaming services. But I'm noticing some of the streaming services are starting to team up. Is that a temporary thing, or is that going to be long-term, like, say, Hulu and HBO?
No, yeah, I think that's sort of the long-term solution, and everybody's being a little cagey about it because for the past couple of years, particularly with the rise of streaming services from about 2019, when you had now called Max, formerly HBO Max, and Apple TV were introduced, as well as Disney Plus, it was the Wild West in terms of you had Warner Brothers launching Max, so that was their service. They were very focused there. But what they're finding is that's not how people watch things, and that's not how people want to watch things. So the first step there is they are starting to bundle services. First, there's been internal bundles like Paramount Plus and Showtime, Discovery Plus and Max, which are both owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, get bundled together. But you're starting to see things like Verizon, for example, offering bundles of what should be disparate services together. Ultimately, I'm always of the opinion the consumer should win. The consumer should be the one that determines that. And if you decide, hey, it's easier and cheaper for me and better for my family to get, say, Paramount Plus and Netflix for $10 instead of $17, because, of course, it is, that's what people are going to lean into. That's what will determine the market going forward.
Yeah, and we have a model for this because the studios used to hate each other, movie studios I'm talking about. And then with the rise of independent filmmaking in particular, but the idea that it got more and more expensive to make movies, you spend 20 minutes watching previews to a movie, and then you spend another 15 minutes watching how many producers have combined to make a movie. So cost matters. That's what this comes down to. But I want to touch on, again, something you and Andre are talking about, people gaming the system. How do they beat that if people are just signing up for a particular program and then bailing?
How do the companies game it, or how do the consumers bail?
The people are going to want to do it, and I get why you'd want to do it, but how do the companies beat it? Because it's going to cost them money.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ways that they're fighting back against that and trying to make money is sort of reinventing the wheel in a certain way. This is kind of an inside joke that happens with a lot of TV reporters, is every time they introduce something, quote unquote, new, we say, oh, great, you reinvented cable, and that's essentially what it is. One of the big things over the past year that has actually been growing while services like Netflix and Disney Plus have been losing subscribers, are what is called FAST, which is free ad-supported tier services, things like Tubi or Pluto that have channels, and they stream out things for free. You can log into them for free with it. You don't even need to sign up for a subscription most of the time. You're just watching ads in the middle of the TV shows and the movies like we were used to doing when you would just, flip on TNT or whatever. So that's one way they're doing it, is they're selling it to these FAST services. But the funny part about it is sometimes they own the FAST services. So really it's a little bit of a tax game of saying, oh, we sold it to this other company, but it's actually a subset of our company. So right now they're all scrambling because of this big change in streaming behavior over the past couple of months. But I think we're going to settle into a place where you're going to get a bundle of streaming services very similar to how we had cable. And again, just kind of reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, I think so too. Alex, the start of the awards season is this Sunday. My favorite, the Golden Globes.
Yes. Golden Globes are going to be Sunday at 8 p.m. on CBS. This is kind of a big deal for them because they ran into a bunch of controversy a couple years back and were not on TV for a couple of years. But now they're back on CBS. They're going to have all the stars there. They're going to have Joe Coy, who's a comedian, is going to be hosting it. Should be an interesting time, and the Golden Globes at their best are always, sorry to use the term, but like a boozy delight where people are
a free-for-all
and eating, and they go a little wild. So we'll see if it's back to normal, or we'll see if they're tentative because of the controversy of it.
I don't want to bang on any fellow entertainer, and good for Joe Coy, but this is an award show that regularly grabbed Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and Ricky Gervais did it multiple times. And Joe's a fine comedian, but not an A-lister of that level. Are they having trouble finding hosts?
They are. A number of top-tier presenters just flat out turned them down, and I think a lot of that is I don't remember the exact continuity, but at least 2 years ago, I believe it was pretty much just a press release. 1 year it was a webcast. So this is them scrambling to get back to the same level that they had previously. If they get the ratings there, if people watch the show, if people enjoy the show, I think they'll probably be back to normal next year, particularly if they are actually past all that controversy. But if there's any controversy or if it goes down in ratings, I think they're going to have the same problems next year as well.
All right, we got to continue with the Golden theme here. The Golden Wedding airs on ABC tonight. It's a live 2-hour wedding spinoff of the hit show The Golden Bachelor. Is anyone watching this?
Actually, The Golden Bachelor was the biggest hit for the Bachelor franchise for ABC in years. It was huge. And anybody who doesn't know, this had I don't remember his exact age, but he's in his 70s, a guy named Gary Turner. He's looking for love again after his wife passed away years earlier. And he ended up getting engaged, as they always do in the last episode. But the big surprise there, which they've never done before, is they said, hey, we're both old. We want to get married very quickly. Let's have a wedding live on the air. So that's exactly what's happening. Less than a month, I believe, after the finale aired, though obviously it filmed a couple of months back. They are going to get married. They're going to be married. One of the officiants is one of the contestants who is on the show. So if you can imagine your ex-girlfriend marrying you, pretty weird, but should be the first big TV event of the year.
I want to plug again the place to go for deciding what you're going to watch is Decider.com. And Alex, your 2024 TV preview, is that up today?
Yeah, that's actually going to be going up shortly. We have a look at a bunch of different shows that are coming up throughout the year that you're going to want to stay tuned for. Some things that I'll mention early in the year, there's a show called Masters of the Air that's going to be on Apple TV+.
Yep.
And this stars people like Austin Butler, Barry Keoghan, and Ncuti Gatwa, who's the new Doctor Who. This was filmed before they did any of their big things, so that should be a huge deal. Abbott Elementary is going to come back. And one early thing that's getting a lot of buzz is a show called Death and Other Details, which is coming January 16th to Hulu. Stars Mandy Patinkin, and if you're looking for another twisty mystery show, that's definitely one to check out.
Alex, great job. Decider.com. Keep up the fine work, and thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks so much for having me on.
There you go. We like him.
Thanks, Alex.